here. Okie dokie, let's get started. We have another episode of the Remax Lee Realty Expert Series, and we have Cassie Beach with us today, who's not only a fantastic realtor, but also part owner in Richmond. And she is going to be talking about, Cassie?
New construction. Yay! So I'll tell you kind of how I got into real estate real quick. I was pregnant with my second child, and my sister calls me and she says, I have a big, a lot of lots, actually 70 to be exact, that they were building townhomes on, which is in Beaumont Center Circle. And she was very overwhelmed. She needed help. It was hard for her to do it all by herself. So I got my real estate license pretty much just to help her. I was just going to do it part-time because I had one child and one on the way. And I saw how stressed out she was from new construction. And I said, I really don't want to be like you. You are constantly on your phone, constantly stressed out. I don't see how you do it. Sorry, I feel like my computer's fuzzy. But I ended up loving it. I loved the new construction, just taking a piece of land, helping design the plans, learning about the families throughout the whole process, helping them pick out selections. I really, really liked it. So I decided to continue on, and here I am 6 years later. I've represented a couple builders. Every one of them has been different. I have 3 buyers right now that are building new construction with different builders. And selling a new construction is an entirely different process. If you haven't read the new construction contract that we have in LBAR, please do that. Because you need to make sure that you tell your clients ahead of time what they're getting into. So I was reading over the new construction contract and wrote down some notes that I wanted to make sure that you guys go back and read. So that way you can inform your clients just how different it is from just a regular standard purchase. So if the builder does not use the new construction contract, they will have their own contract, and typically the listing agent fills that out for you. So sometimes it's easy starting a new build because the listing agent does all the work ahead of time. They write out all the contracts, the addendums, everything. So it is kind of nice having that because you can pretty much just hand them your client and they do the work. But a couple of things to take note on, the difference in earnest money and cash advance. So a builder is going to require a cash advance. It is non-refundable. Your clients cannot get that back. So that is a big thing that you need to make sure to point out when you're looking at the contract. Does the builder just want some earnest money, which, as you know, can be refundable? Or how much they want in their cash advance. Right now I have a builder that requires 10% down. I have another builder that requires 1% down. So I, of course, have to let my clients know, no matter what, no matter if your house doesn't sell, no matter if you change your mind, cold feet in the middle, your money is gone with that cash advance. So that's just something to make sure that they know ahead of time. And it also helps them trust you a lot too by double checking. Are you sure you want to do this? You know, it's a beautiful home, but let's make sure that you want to do this. And then that way you know that your clients are all in as well. And I'm sorry, 1 second, my dog is barking at me at the door. I'm gonna let him in. And it looks like he's played in dirt. Yay! So that's the kind of difference between the cash advance and the earnest money. Make sure you ask the builder what they require ahead of time. And some builders will say, hey, I understand you can't do 10% all up front right now. Let's do 5% and maybe make some monthly payments. Like, let's try to work this out. My client really likes the house. Their money's all tied up in their current house. Can they do 1% now? And when they sell, can we do the rest? So there's different ways that builders, they want your business. So you may be able to work something out there, unless it's Ball Homes. It is what it is. Don't ask for anything. So another thing on our LBAR contract talks a lot about the financing. So once you get under contract, your buyer has 5 days to get a lender and get their rate locked. If your client is shopping around and it takes more than 5 days, it could delay the construction process, because typically a smart builder won't start the process until they have a pre-qualification letter and their rate is locked. So speaking of the rate lock, which I've ran into this issue many, many times, you need to ask the lender ahead of time, what is their rate lock period? So that way you can tell the builder, hey, we have to complete this home in 6 months or the rate lock is going to expire, and it can cost thousands of dollars to get that extended. It has come up quite a few times, and it's been a very, very big deal, because if builder gets delayed, which they do often, then your clients could be out a couple $1,000s if they want to keep that rate. So that is something good to also tell your clients ahead of time. Let's work closely with the lender. Let's make sure we write down this rate lock date, and let's make sure the builder stays on top of it, so it doesn't go past that date. Of course, they can buy the rate lock extensions and everything, but like I said, it can be $200, but I've seen it be up to thousands, near 3,000 actually for one of them. So just make sure that that is something you talk to your client in advance, and it's your job to make sure you notify everybody those dates. So that is your responsibility. Let's see here. So all builders will have different addendums. Make sure that the builder you're working with sends you over the exact floor plans, the elevations, what is in the home. I have ran into this with a builder before, and he actually lost in arbitration. The clients signed off on all the floor plans, and the builder made a mistake and put stone on the house, the elevation, instead of brick, instead of vinyl. And so when he quoted them the price, he was quoting vinyl, but the plan said stone. So he lost that battle because the client signed off on the plan, and that was a plan that they were expecting. So if your clients have anything very particular, flip-flop the garage, because technically the builder, per our contract, has the right to choose the elevation and choose what side the garage sits on, how to do the yard, how to do the sod. So if your client is very particular, I know some people really care about the way the sun is facing on their porch and the entry to the door. So you need to make sure you let the builder know and you sign off on it per what your client wants. Because if they get out to the site and the builder says there's absolutely no way we can put the garage on this side, the elevation is just not going to work, and that's a huge deal to your clients, then they could back out if they signed off on something the builder is changing his mind that he can't do, or you might be able to pick a different lot. So it is very important in new construction to get everything in writing. This selection sheet, different builders do different things. James Monroe has a whole system that you can print out and you know exactly what you're getting, but other builders, smaller builders, might just have something like an Excel, but you need to make sure are we getting granite? Are we getting laminate? Are we getting vinyl flooring? Everything that they have quoted you, just make sure you have that in writing. Because like I said, people can change their mind. The builder can change his mind and say, oh, well, I quoted you rolled vinyl flooring in all your wet areas, and your buyer is going to be really, really upset if they think they're getting something else. So just make sure everything's documented. Let's see. I wrote down some stuff just to make sure I go over everything. But if you all have any questions over anything I just went over, please please let me know, or any experiences that you've had that you want to share.
Have you found is a really good new construction lender that has a longer than typical rate lock period?
Right now, I'm using Brent Carter with Movement Mortgage. He has been really good on all of my new construction that I've had so far.
How long is that period?
Let's see. Well, I believe it was 6 months for those ones. One of them was already under roof, so we just did like a 3-month for that one.
Okay, and you were talking about getting everything in writing and signing off on plans. Do you do that at time of contract signing?
Yes.
All the selections, everything, before you sign the contract to start?
Yes, you'll want to sign off on what you're getting, that purchase price, the contract. You want to know what all they're getting. Now,
Right.
A lot of times the builders will say, here are standard selections and here's the purchase price of that. After this period, we'll set up an appointment to do all your selections, and anything that is not on that selection sheet that you want upgraded, your clients will probably either pay 25% of anything upgraded upfront, or if it's a real custom deal, a lot of builders want that 100% upfront. So if they want bright blue cabinets, the builder might say, okay, that's fine, but you need to pay me for those now. So it's just the purchase price needs to match what they're getting, and then any upgrades after that. So if like James's standard features is laminate countertops, if your client wants granite, that's fine. At time of selections, they will select what granite they want, and they will pay 25% of the total selections price in advance. Does that make sense? I need to find my charger too. Here.
Hey, Cassie.
Hi.
Hey, I got a question on the selections. All right, so you said prior to on new construction to do have all the signed off on your clients, and then during the selection period, typically they ask 25%, and then if it's let's say it wasn't on the selection, then they wanted to upgrade. What typically happens there? I just need some clarity there.
If they want to upgrade it, so they'll sign off on all the upgrades. So let's say your client wants $20,000 in upgrades from the standard features sheet that they've already signed off on, and the contract, the purchase price.
Okay.
So they want $20,000 in upgrades from what they already signed off on. Then you'll sign off on those too. The buyer and the builder will all sign off on, hey, this is what's going in the house. These are the upgrades I want. Okay. Another thing you have to be careful on is your client's pre-approval. If they're only pre-approved up to $300,000 and they want $20,000 in upgrades, they're at $320,000. So you need to call the lender and just say, hey, the purchase price I gave you is actually going to be $20,000 more. Are they going to be approved for that?
Gotcha. Okay. Now, what if they had it outside of the lending part? So they had the extra cash outside of that. Is that?
They could go ahead and just give it to the builder.
Okay.
Yeah. And the builder just hold it till closing.
Okay.
Yep.
What about change orders?
Yeah. So change orders most of the time will cost your clients $200 to $300 per change order. It depends on the builder, but that's about standard. So if they pick out granite and a month later they don't like that granite, the builder could charge them another $200 to $300 just to change that out. Because a lot of times, especially right now, builders are ordering everything very, very quickly because it's all back ordered. So if the builder has already purchased it, then they could say no to your change order. But if they haven't already purchased it and it's not being shipped yet, then your clients could just pay to change it.
Is your first meeting with a builder's agent always with just the agent only, or with the builder present?
It just depends. So there's a builder that I like right now. I have 2 going up with him. His name is Jeff Taylor. And I just recently found him and I really, really like him. One, because he loves working with realtors, because I have been burned a few times on builders. I have brought my clients in, met with a builder. I didn't get anything signed off ahead of time. So the client decided just to go straight to the builder. This Jeff Taylor guy, he works with, he's represented by Michael Prather. So typically you could call Michael Prather and just say, hey, I have somebody that's looking to build. They want to build in Magnolia Point in Richmond. Can we set up a Zoom call with the builder or start an email chain, talk about what my clients want, send over some Pinterest stuff that your client likes. So I like him because the builder actually will meet with the client. So I had a Zoom meeting with my client and the builder, and he was fantastic. He knew how many light bulbs were going in the kitchen. He knew everything. Whereas James Monroe does not like meeting with clients. He is a builder that wants to stand off in the background and pay not a realtor, a sales associate now, and she will meet with the client and do everything. She'll type up the agreement and she'll send it to James to sign off on. And your client may never meet the builder until closing. So there's certain builders, if you know some clients want that personable experience, that you might want to research which builders will do that. Ball Homes, you're not going to meet with the builder of Ball Homes. You may meet with the GM of the neighborhood some, but not a lot. So some of these smaller builders I've found are much easier to work with because they like going to the job sites and actually meeting the clients and hearing what they want. So that's why I like this guy, and hopefully I can, with nothing on the market, hopefully I can give him many more clients. But he specifically said, I want you to call my agent first because I want to be represented by an agent, which is great. Some builders are like, no, I'm not going to pay that. And then once you talk to the agent, then he'll work it out. But like James, which he has a real estate license, but he doesn't have a realtor representing him right now. It's just a sales girl that sits in his model. So another one I have going on in Richmond, I met with a realtor. I did not meet with the builder, but it's been pretty smooth so far. The realtor was pretty on top of new construction, knew what he was doing. Does that answer your question? Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Okay. So just if you're meeting with a builder, I would highly recommend you sending over a compensation agreement first. So that way it says, hey, if my clients do decide to build with you, you're going to pay me. I referred you, I'm bringing them to you, you're going to pay me. So I would set that up ahead of time. And some clients want to shop builders, which is fine. Give them 3 different names and say, I'll go with you to all 3 appointments and I'll guide you with my experience. But I would send 3 different compensations agreements to all 3 builders. I lost out on a $500,000 house, so I've learned the hard way. Let's see. Warranties. Also ask the builder if they're a part of the Home Builder Association. There is one in Lexington. A lot of builders are a part of that, so they have to abide by the Home Builder Association's warranties. So it's nice because if a builder steps out of line, he's not giving you a warranty on something that should be, you can report him to the Home Builder Association. So it's kind of nice to have that. Just in case, because there are some builders that'll say, no, that flooring's not under warranty, and you go back and it is. Well, the Home Builder Association can put pressure on them to actually fix it. But in the LBAR contract, it's under number 12. It'll say this builder's providing a rented home warranty or a standard home warranty. Make sure you check one of those boxes that they are providing a warranty and who the warranty is with. Some builders do a 210 warranty, which is more of a structural. And so if you ask the builder ahead of time and they do provide that, make sure you put it in the contract. Let's see, inspections. So a lot of times people think because it's new construction, it's going to be perfect. It's rarely perfect. So I would still recommend that you advise your client to get an inspection. Of course, they don't need a pest inspection. It's already been treated. So the WDI report that we get, wood destroying insects, they don't need to pay for that. The ground's already been treated. There's already warranty there that the builder will give you at closing saying that it is done. Now with that, if it's an FHA loan or a VA loan, they will want that that report saying where it was treated. So you need to make sure you give that to the lender ahead of time. It'll need to go into underwriting. So they'll want to check that. And another thing with those two loans is a builder has to fill out extra forms. I've ran into this before and it delayed closing. The lender did not send us the forms for the builder to fill out ahead of time. And it was literally the day before closing or the day of closing. They sent it real quick and said, hey, the builder needs to fill this out and we need to send it back into underwriting. It's going to delay closing a couple days. And of course, the builder is very ticked off about that. So I would highly recommend for it to be your job that if it is one of those two loans, you let the lender know, hey, go ahead and send out those forms over to the builder so we can get that taken care of. Because they will need that for closing. Let's see. Oh, for the inspection. So typically the builder will let you know when it's time to do inspections. It'd probably be right after the CO is done and the inspector can go in. They always find something. I think every single builder forgets to take the cap off the vent, the plumbing cap off the vent on the roof. And then years later, the buyers figure it out when they go to resell. But I still recommend an inspection for new construction. So of course it's up to your buyer if they want to pay for it or not, but it is good to have.
Are you finding more builders are able to stay on time right now, or they're behind?
They're behind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By 3 months, 3 weeks?
One of them I have right now, it was supposed to close April 1st. It's looking like it's going to be the April 15th, the builder said. The rate lock expires on the 12th. So I told the builder, we cannot go past the 12th or you're paying the rate lock. And I will get that in writing. Saying that we have to have it done on the 12th. Our contract says the 1st. And if you go past the 12th, you're paying for the rate lock because that's my client's base the rate lock per this contract. So rate lock can be a big issue. Let's see. How have you all done new construction before? Anybody? Not yet.
Only at almost completion, never from start yet.
Yeah.
I haven't done it from start either, but I've done it a few times from almost complete.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't use the new construction contract.
Okay.
In the new construction contract, talking about inspections, does it have inspections listed like it does in the regular purchase contract?
It does. It's worded a little different. I believe it says the builder is supposed to notify you when it's time for inspection, but they rarely do. So once you get this CO, I would just go ahead and reach out to the builder and say, when's a good time for inspection? They do want that done.
Do you have any suggestions on when a client is shopping a builder? From my experience, they're kind of shady. They're kind of shady.
For sure.
So what kind of questions or what kind of strategies can we use other than what you've already talked about, which is your commission agreement or compensation agreement? Can we use to protect our clients to make sure they get what they're paying for, I guess.
Yeah. Get what they're paying for.
I
Well,
guess.
Yeah, so when your clients are shopping builders, I would probably just go ahead and say, hey, here's a couple builders I recommend. Go ahead and send them the compensation agreement form. If they say, well, I'm going to go shop this other builder, show them your worth. Say, I have heard of nightmare stories with builders, because and that have gotten away with many things because the buyer has not had their own representation. Make sure you tell them, hey, I need to be there with you to help represent you, because there's a lot of details that you might not know of that the certain builders could take advantage of you. So I don't know if that was your question about how more like you get paid, but the client.
Yeah, it's more like, how do I protect my client along the way? You described a few ways, which is get everything in writing in the beginning, make sure they're signing off on those finishes.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned one with the rate lock thing. If you see the builder having to extend, ask them to sign that they'll pay for the rate lock extension.
Yeah.
What are some things, I guess, along the way that you haven't already mentioned that protects the client that we wouldn't know if we'd never been through the process with a client?
I would recommend going out to the job site multiple times. So actually in the contract, it states that the buyer has to be with their representation, but we all know that the buyers go over there every single day and watch. But just to protect them, like the other day, I went by one of mine and noticed that they put a tub in instead of a shower. Well, if we waited until, I don't know, a long time, inspection period or anything, and noticed that, that would have been a huge issue. And your buyers probably would have just said, I can't move my closing date anymore. I'll just deal with the shower, or I'll just deal with the tub. So making sure that the builder is doing what he says by checking up on them, making sure you have, if you go to the selections with them, which I highly recommend, you can go to selections with them, take a picture of what color cabinets, countertops, if they have a backsplash, take a picture with your phone of what they picked out. So that way, when you go and check up on them, you can make sure that they have their correct stuff in there. And then when you're doing the selections, make sure it's detailed, not just subway tile for the backsplash. It needs to be white subway tile 2x6s. It's just very, very detailed, because anybody can interpret it, different ways. So if your client's very particular about certain things, just make sure you're reading it correctly, and that it's detailed on what exactly is being put into their home and what exactly they're paying for. So kind of just babysitting the builder, calling them once a month, just saying, hey, are we under roof yet? Or, is anything going to be back ordered that, might extend the process? Just really stay on them.
What about like when shopping for lots, and a client wants a basement and the builder says, yes, we can do a basement and this is how much it might cost. But then they get in and there's a ton of rock and it costs $10,000 more to take out all that rock. Mm-hmm. What do you do to protect your client? Do you do, I guess, what is it, a ground sample or something?
Yeah, the perk test.
Well, I don't know, whatever test it is where they drill out a section to see how rocky it is.
Yeah, I mean, if your clients are just buying a 3-acre lot somewhere, of course they'll want to have it perk tested if it needs septic, but they're responsible for any inspections. So if they want that done, they would need to do it ahead of time, because even if the builder says that, he's not obligated to it. And honestly, in James Monroe, the builder, he has a rock clause in his addendum that says if he hits rock and it exceeds so much money, the buyer has to pay for that in full upfront. So some builders do have rock clauses, and I think Ball Homes does as well. So the buyers are responsible for that. Ugh. I hate allergies. What else you got for me? Anything? No.
Got
let's-
one. A little bit late.
Huh?
I'm going.
Yeah.
Have you had any bad experiences with the buyers or with the builders who will purchase the land for the buyer up front as part of the deal? Have you seen that happen? Where like the builder will actually, even if it's not in one of their neighborhoods, they'll buy a rural lot and then work that into the funding of the new construction.
I don't know that I've had any bad experiences. I have had that happen. Trying to think, it's been a while, but I don't think it was a bad experience. But my clients did have to pay a decent amount up front that was non-refundable. And a lot of times, if your client wants to buy the lot, and say they buy the lot and they pay cash, $30,000 lot, but they don't have enough money for the cash advance for the builder, they can deed over the lot to the builder, and that can be their cash advance. So a lot of times builders will do that because if they back out, the builder gets to keep the lot at least. But yeah, if the builder wants to buy the lot ahead of time, I would say he would probably want a decent amount down to make sure they didn't back out. And deeding over the lot is pretty easy. We've done it quite a few times actually. And it's worked out great. And then at closing, it literally just goes back into the buyer's name as a whole. Let's see. At trying to think. Thought of something at closing that was important. Now it just lost me. No. So I've been doing mostly new construction my entire real estate career, and I am not representing a builder right now, which is the first time, and it's kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie, because if you do decide you want to represent a builder or have that opportunity ahead of time, a couple things. So say you have a builder that wants to build 30 lots and he wants you to go ahead and put them all on LBAR for proposed construction. That's great, that's fine, but make sure you have all the paperwork for each lot. So if halfway through he decides he doesn't want you as his realtor anymore, he still has an agreement in place for those other lots. If he tries to sell them, of course, I guess he can always just break the agreement. But there was an example when we were leaving James's, some points we had 40 homes proposed. So getting all that paperwork, it was just a lot. You know, he would just say, hey, here's a new floor plan, go ahead and put it online. Okay, cool. But when we were leaving him, people were still calling us because we had represented him for 3 years almost, and people would still call us, and we would go to James and say, hey, do you still want us to represent you? I know we're kind of phasing out of this process. And he could have easily said, well, I think he did say on one of them, do we have an agreement on that lot? Well, that particular lot, no, we did not have an agreement on that proposed house. So he said, no, I'll just take it from here. Thanks for answering the phone. So if you do decide you want a builder, make sure you have paperwork for every single one. Some builders might do like a blanket agreement for all of them. which you might be able to do as well. But also you're responsible for what you're putting on the MLS, the square footage, the everything. Be careful when you're putting stuff on the MLS. Like, don't put grading on there if it's not a standard feature. Go ahead and put what is in the standard feature sheet and say you can upgrade from there. So just be very careful. Make sure the house has a fireplace, if it's supposed to have a fireplace, or dual fuel systems, or just anything. Make sure you have that correct on the MLS, especially the square footage. But you can put on there per builder's plan. Because if they build a house and it's not the same square footage, they could sue the builder. And I think a couple agents in our office have had that happen before. So just make sure, square footage per builder's plan on there. It's a lot of watching your back on new construction. It is very stressful because you feel like you cannot do anything wrong at all. It's a lot of making sure you hit the deadlines correctly. You stay on top of the lender throughout the whole process. So that's about all I have. Hopefully it was helpful. And of course, I'm always here. If you have a new construction, any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you need help meeting with a builder or anything like that, I'm happy to go and do anything that you guys need.
Cassie, thank you so much. This was awesome. I need this big time.
Oh, good.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad it helped.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, I'm all nasally.
Hey, Cass.
Hi.
Good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you were asking about builder questions.
I'm always asking about builder stuff.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it is hard. Yeah, especially right now because there's nothing on the market, so everybody's they're looking for land, which they want a builder. And if you refer a builder, you want to get paid. So like I said, I've been burned a couple times, but just make sure you send over that agreement first and tell the clients, hey, I'm here for you. I'll go, meet with the builder with you. I'll go to all your selections appointments and make sure that what you picked out is what's going in the house. Just show your worth. I mean, obviously they probably know that they're paying for your commission and with the agreement, but I think if you show your worth to them, it'll be fine.
Okay. All right, cool. Bunch of good info. Yeah, I got a text from Tara, just absolutely just glowing about you, Cassie. So
What?
I said I got a text from Tara, just going on about you, like good.
Oh, you're so sweet. Did y'all have fun at the awards banquet? I loved seeing everybody. It was great. Of course, I forgot my award. I gotta go pick it up for me, Paul.
Yeah, I brought it into the office. So, well, cool. Well, if nobody else has any more questions, we'll end it there. Cassie, thank you so much for this. This is awesome. Lots of great info, and I'll get this video up here really soon onto our group. So,
Okay, awesome. Thanks,
talk to you
guys.
guys soon.